welcome to this episode of the Cold Start Corner. I am Eric Matei, joined by an incredible guest today, Dr. Maria Sampalis, joining us. Dr. Sampalis, welcome to the Cold Start Corner.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Absolutely. And, really excited to have you join us today to talk about a world that, quite frankly, there's a lot of doctors living in right now. And those are those doctors that are in a corporate setting who are looking to perhaps diversify, change of pace, live out their vision, whatever it may be, but find their way into private practice. So again, given your background and your story and a lot of great insights you've got to share, thanks again for joining us. So I guess first thing first, why don't you just share a little bit about, for those that are not familiar with you, share a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So I graduated from NECO in 2007. It's been about 15 years. So I've worked in ophthalmology offices. I've worked in health centers, corporate practices. I've worked in private practice as an employee, and now as a business owner for a corporate practice sublease and a private practice. I've started cold private practice. I bought a private practice. I've kind of done a lot in the industry and kind of, learned my ways through and kind of made mistakes throughout the way to kind of be where I am. And, for me, this having your own business, whether it's sublease or private practice, was always something that I wanted. And it takes time, sometimes a little bit of luck of finding the right opportunity. So that is, and then on the side, I have the Facebook group, Corporate Optometry. So I kind of monitor that. I mean, the group is really the members. The members make up the group. They're the reason why the group continues and does fairly well. There's a lot of information out there. Develop some websites because the questions that pop up all the time, practice management. So I've developed the website corporateoptometry.com, but it's the business is everywhere. So it doesn't matter if it's corporate or private. The articles are there to help guide doctors and really love the business aspect of optometry. So develop that website. And I think it's helped a lot of young ODs get started on basic things and just, me talking with doctors within the network, I've learned a lot too over the years too. So for me, it's kind of a way to kind of stay up top and get better myself. Cause you always got to learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And really remarkable stuff that you do out there within the corporate optometry community. And really, I see a lot of content that you put out, and you are empowering these doctors to make radical changes in the trajectory of their career. And it's amazing. So, okay. So on that note, when did you decide that it was time for you to make that step into practice ownership? Kind of walk us through what was kind of like that aha moment where you're like, you know what, we need to start investigating things.
Yeah. So I came out of school. I'm like, I just want to have my own I want to have my own thing. Right. But it just doesn't come that way. Like I came out right away. People like, you're crazy. But I'm like, yeah, I want to have my own thing, but it doesn't come out that way. You have to learn along the way. And for me, kind of working through those different settings, really found out what I like and what I don't like. And, I had the opportunity back in 2012 because I wanted to have my own business. So I looked to purchase a practice. Unfortunately, sometimes the evaluations are are astronomical for what some of these doctors think it's worth. I mean, to buy it, it has to make sense in order for you to, push it forward, hire associates, things like that, to make sense for you. And for me, I took over like a Sears sublease, like nobody wanted it. But for me, I was like, I'm going to take this, I'm going to learn as much as I can. I'm going to gain a patient base and I'm going to go from there. And I was there almost 5 years. And I knew it was good for me because at that time I had a 1-year-old and I was pregnant. And people were like, well, when we have that career, want to make that career move and you have kids, you're afraid to do that. But for me, I'm like, okay, it's a smaller sublease. And, if I'm tired, if I'm pregnant, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to learn. And whatever I learn from here, I can take the next step. And at that point, there was nothing else available. And for me, it was like low risk, right? Sublease is always low risk, and found that that's like where I thrived, what I like. And that's how, ownership, just that entrepreneurship came about. And that's where corporate optometry started, was at the basement of the Sears Optical at that point. And because I mean, you had some extra time and you have to kind of think outside the box of what else to do. But I was having all these questions, and there wasn't any information out there. Any information that's presented to you from the corporation sometime is one-sided, right? And so for me, it was for me to learn, and what else could I do? So from there, kind of did that, and then I learned a lot, and I learned medical billing through there as well, because that's how you grow a business, retention, a lot of stuff. And I did learn a lot from people in the industry, even from opticians that worked at the optical shops, things like that. You always learn those things, and I always observe the opticians in the corporate setting, how they sell, corporate, how they do marketing and things like that. Like, how could I learn, even if it was slow? Doc's like, oh, slow, I'm wasting my time. Well, pay attention, see what you can learn out here. These people have been doing this for 20 years. See how they do that, how they target. Everyone complains about managed care. Yeah, I mean, it's not it's not great. Okay, I'm not going to say I approve of it, but like, find something that works for you. Like learn how to do that. Like, look, no managed care will pay for medically necessary contact lenses. What drives patients into your office? Sometimes it's that. So think of it. Unfortunately, I think of managed care as more of a marketing tool, right? So so instead of paying Google whatever $1,000, maybe it's iMed that brings it in. I'm not saying that I like managed care, but you got to
Sure.
take a different mindset on it. So I
Yes.
kind of saw it as a different opportunity too. And then come fast forward 5 years, they decided that we were going to close. I mean everybody kind of knew, right? But for me, I was ready at that point because I knew I had planned ahead. You have to kind of have a strategic plan of how you want to do in your career trajectory. What is your goals for this day, this month? Are you meeting those goals? And then what is like the 1 year mark and the 5 year mark? So for me, it was, hey, I want to have multiple subleases at that point. It ended up not happening with that, unfortunately. And they gave me an offer saying, hey, you can work as an employee for a doctor at LensCrafters, and the salary was tremendous, right? But I said, hey, I'm 35 years old. I always wanted to have my own practice. I know I don't like working for somebody. I think I'd be a bad employee. I'd probably get fired everywhere. I mean, because I know what I like and what I want. And for me,
Yes.
it was, okay,
Yes.
I built this patient base. Now they say patients follow you. And you have to kind of have that. If you built that mental toughness and you have that strategic plan of what it is, you have it planned out, even when a curveball comes your way, you're able to adjust and make adjustments. So I did. I started a cold practice right after they closed. I opened in a month's time. They gave me a month's time to move out. I ended up buying used equipment and started practice, and they did help me out with some stuff as well. But I opened a cold practice for $30,000, and I had saved the money over the years because I knew that something could come up with this. Even without the closure, some doctors might need to be ready for if a termination comes, if a buyout, whatever the case is.
Sure. Yes.
And I ended up starting that. And I already had EMR, so EMR was ready to go. I had a website, so you had to change it. I had done my own credentialing in the past. I had time to do it because it was a smaller practice, but the knowledge is power. So when that time came, I could easily change addresses, move those practice, and open a practice within a month's time and see patients. And patients followed, and patients buy glasses from you, and they want to support you. And I did that for almost 3 years. And it was nice to kind of see that growth and say I did it, because I think people are afraid of fear and failure and things like that. But I was like, if I look back, am I going to regret it? Yeah, I knew that. Even if, I'll tell you, they offered me $1,000 a day at the LensCrafters at the sublease to work for. But I said, I'm not going to be happy. It's not about the money. It's about having your own thing, building. And for me, even now, seeing a lot of patients and being busy, for me, it was more freedom, making decisions. If I want to leave early, if I want to take my kids to work, I could do all that. It's what I want, and I'm building a practice, and I'm happy that. So come COVID, during COVID, we're home for 2 months. We're taking a pause on everything, and I'm working there, and everything's fine. I ended up getting a call from a doctor who was maybe like 3 miles from my other practice. and saying he just want to hang it up and retire. So if I was interested in buying his practice. So, obviously me, I'm like, yeah, I had gone through it over the years with other doctors, even practices that were outside, maybe like 20, 30 miles, maybe in Massachusetts or something like that. I knew that I wasn't looking to buy, but I had experience because I had gone through it. I had looked at their their taxes. I had looked at their practice, what they think their valuations is. I've looked at other evaluations. So I kind of had an idea. So I went to go see him and we closed a deal within, I think, an hour. I said, listen, I know your practice is older and needs some work. For me, it was demographics. He owned the building. I bought the building. And for me, I just moved the practice that I started and combined them. And for me, it was a no-brainer. And I'll tell you, it took 15 years for me to get here. So everyone that's kind of listening to this podcast that is like struggling and saying it's never going to happen, it happens. Something's just come out of the blue, unfortunately. So all the good things that have come through optometry for me I am such a planner, right? I'm such a planner, but it's always come out of the blue. Like you can't plan someone with from COVID saying, hey, I'm out. I'm 70 years old. I'm out. And it ended up being a opportunity where he just wanted out. It was a good opportunity financially. And, the money that I kind of saved, I reinvested into the practice. So we remodeled the whole building, made it super nice now, new equipment, up to date, and been successful. Patients see it, they value it, and they see the how passionate I am about growing the business. And I've had great staff that I can't take all the credit. The staff is what makes it, run. And for sometimes if I just want to go hide in the back, I don't want to see that patient, the office manager handles it, I'm like, all right, you're the boss, so you do it. But I mean, to come to practice ownership it's not the traditional way. And that's just, think optometry is different, but now than it used to be. So that was my journey and how I got here. And then, I also have a sublease at Warby Parker, which came to me as well. And they offered it and we kind of made it negotiated. And it's been a great opportunity too, because even so, like I'm learning a lot. Like they're different approach now to eye care and things like that, and how I'm seeing like patients are fans. So I'm like, how do I get, you want your brand image and patients to be your brand loyalty. Sure. How do they do that? It's different. They're just different. So there's a lot of learning opportunities, and that's how I've seen it now with like corporate optometry or even just filling in. I did fill in for a doctor that had a private practice. You learn a lot. You meet different people, see how things are getting done, what's pros and cons, what you could do. But like my brain, I went into that practice and I'm like, all right, this needs to change. Like within like 30 seconds of walking in.
Yes.
But I mean, so that's how I think and do that. But I'm passionate about it. Like I love the business. Like I love that stuff. So for me, it's exciting. It's things. So now like my office manager's like, you're like getting bored like in the office because you already remodeled, you did everything. She's like, you don't know how to stay in cruise control mode.
Yeah, right.
So, but because now because you've seen it. It's like, how can you challenge yourself and be better? So, it has not been easy. And that's what I kind of want the listeners to hear. It has not been easy. And so it has been. I've had young kids and, mom, you're not, they're still in the practice involved. They know, like they come to work with me. Sometimes it's a lot easier than other times, and you have to bribe them sometimes, They're like, if we're good, do we get ice cream? I'm like, yeah, just
absolutely.
Just stay over here for now. But, it's been a great journey for me.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Dr. Sampalis, you have touched on so many things throughout this, but I think two big ones that I think is important for people to take away. Number one is vision, right? And that's something that I noticed at various stages of your journey thus far, which, and I know you're continuing to do it. I know you've got some amazing things on the horizon, right? But just to follow your vision, right? And realize that, hey, through the ups and the downs, stay true to your vision. get a bit done each day, get a bit done each week, get a bit done each year, set your goals and go for it, right? Something else that you said that I think also is critical for everyone to take away, particularly those that have an established practice as a leaseholder. Maybe they have started to grow that following in their corporate setting, but really to own your practice. However that is manifesting itself right now, to own your practice and develop that patient relationship. And whether that is, hey, where you are in a leasehold setting, and I applaud you for having the foresight, Dr. Sampalis, for having EHR while in that leaseholder setting, for having your own website that is branded to your practice, right? Developing that omnichannel 360 relationship with the patients so that when you do get the opportunity to venture into private practice, you've got them following you. So just some really absolutely amazing stuff. I feel like we could probably continue this conversation going for the next hour, and perhaps we'll have you come back if we want to maybe drill down more focused into some of these other areas. But Dr. Sampalis, I suppose as we kind of wrap things up, I know you've got some remarkable resources available through Corporate Optometry. So how can our viewers get linked into Corporate Optometry, access those learnings, be a part of that community?
Yeah, so people are more than welcome, even if they're private practitioners, as they're looking for associates and things like that, or looking to sell a practice. They're more than welcome to join Corporate Optometry. It's on Facebook. They can search it. The website, corporateoptometry.com, has practice manager resource for the people that want to start subleases and get that comfort level. I think as the industry changes and evolves, I think we're going to see a lot of younger ODs, start within that setting, get comfortable, get some confidence, pay off some loans, get some revenue. That's how I did it. And then, see if that's something they want to do and venture to do more, or just say, hey, this is not for me, because each brand's different and what they provide, what they can do. And then, and then say, I'm going to buy a practice, or I'm going to move these patients and I'm going to start my own practice. And, I've had doctors that work at Walmart and they have a sublease at Walmart and they do that. So they kind of have the hybrid model, one step on one and the other. And each company's different, and if they allow private practice or not. So you kind of have to, talk with them and know. But, a lot of doctors maybe started in the setting. They did it for 20 years. They were happy that good income, but, they couldn't find a doctor to fill in, or they couldn't, they have to be open 7 days a week and things like that. And then they ended up making a decision to say, hey, the last 10 years of my career, I'm just going to, do my own thing. And, and for them, they have the money. They made them. It's not about the money. It's more about like flexibility, quality. Sometimes, I mean, there is a lot of stress in private practice too to manage, but at the end of the mark, then sometimes it's, just, again, being flexible and having your own schedule, doing what you want. And, at the end, it's a great career, and it's really not stressful. It's not that stressful. And I've say, you over the years, just chit-chatting with patients, you don't really feel like you're working. You become friends with these people, right? And you're happy to help them. So, and that we do such a great job, and I think we're more primary care for our profession.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Sampalis, again, thank you so much for joining us here at the Cold Start Corner. We'll definitely have to have you come back. There's some other ideas we'll have to talk through here. For our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in on the Cold Start Corner. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow on the Cold Start Corner right here at Akrinos.com. Follow us on the socials. On behalf of all of us here at Akrinos, Eric Matei signing off. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, and no matter what you're going for, go for it, make it happen. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.